Hi, welcome to my balcony garden. We're going to talk about today. Hi guys, I'm back to talk about fertilizers again. Not about the NPK numbers, but fertilizers itself. Homemade fertilizers to be specific, right? So I know we put a lot of money into our garden, and I'm gardening with a budget, so I'm always thinking of frugal ways to take care of my plants where I don't have to spend an arm and a leg. So there are homemade fertilizers that people use on their plants. One is banana skins. When you eat a banana, take the skins, put them in the refrigerator. When you're ready, cut them up, put them in some water, boil them, let it sit for an hour or so, cool down, pour off the skins, throw the skins in the garbage or put them in a compost and pour that potassium tea on your plants for the overall health of your plants. You can put the potassium tea on your plants. You could also, when you make eggs in the morning, take the eggshells, store them up in a container. When they dry out, blend them up into a fine powder and then mix them into your soil to enrich back your soil. It will slowly release calcium in your soil. Another fertilizer that I've seen is some people are using yeast on their plants. Now they mix the 1/8 of a spoon, 1/8 of a spoon of yeast to a gallon of warm water to activate the yeast. Then they'll pour the yeast on the plant as a fertilizer. I've seen people show that they've gotten big results with it, but that's not what I use. What I use is this. Now you might want to say, what is that? This is fish fertilizer. And how do I get this fish fertilizer? I bought a fish tank, an aquaponic tank, where what happens with an aquaponic tank, the fish is in the bottom, and you have a pump that shoots the water up into a tray on top of the fish tank. This tray usually holds plants in it, and it feeds the plants whatever waste the fishes put out in the water, and then the plant cleans the water and brings it back down to the fishes fresh and clean. Well, I've never was able to grow any plants in that for some reason. I don't know what it is. I might have to study that a little bit more to figure it out. So I was like, since that water is good for the plants to grow on top, maybe I could just collect the water when it goes on top and use it as fertilizer for my plant. And that's what I do. This is from my fish tank. I have goldfish. You only need a quarter of the amount. Okay, so let's say I'm watering my plants, right? If I was going to use this to water my plants, which I don't, I have a watering can. You'd put a little bit in the bottom, about a quarter of the whatever you're using to water your plants, about a 1/4 inch of this in the water. And then you fill the rest up with the water you're going to use to water. Because if you were to use this alone, it would burn the plant because it's too strong, right? So you use a 1/4 and of this amount, and then you fill the rest up with water and you pour it in your plants. And that fertilizes the plants. It does very well for a fact, because right here, let's see, give me 1 second. Right here, I have a habanero pepper that's blooming. You see, it's blooming. It has about 5 blooms on it. It has one pepper here that's starting to grow already. I don't know if you can see the pepper, but it has a pepper right here that is starting to grow, and another bloom there, and a bloom over here, and another bloom going to pepper over here, and another bloom sprouting out here. So What I'm saying is that fertilizer, fish fertilizer, is really, really, really good for your plants, right? So I will keep using my fish fertilizer. It doesn't really cost me nothing. I have my fishes in the tank. The water goes up to the top because it has a pump. I prefer that than the regular filters for the fish tank because my tank does not use filters. I don't have to buy a filter for it. The water goes up, then it comes down cleaner. I catch that water when it goes up to the top, fill my bottle up with fertilizer, and use the mix for my plants, right? So it doesn't cost me nothing for fertilizer at all. Those are ways that you can use things that you already have for fertilizer. You could use tea, black tea, green tea. When you make that green tea in the morning or that black tea in the morning, you can use that as a fertilizer. That black tea or that green tea bag can be dropped as a fertilizer. Also, composting. If you compost, you can use that as a fertilizer. I started a little compost, right? And you can start it as easy as I did it as 2 buckets. I have 2 buckets that I use as fertilizer, right? This is the bucket here with my stuff in it. What I do is I put the leaves. I have a tree right here that drops leaves on my patio. I put the leaves in here, right? Any leaves that drop off of my plants, I put them in here. Start my compost that way. Some people like to use food scraps. I believe that that attracts bugs, a lot of bugs quickly, but that's to each his own. But starting a compost is also another way of having a fertilizer that it's not going to cost you anything. It's things you're going to throw away anyway. So why not use them to fertilize your soil, right? Because having plants in containers, they're going to need fertilization because, like I said, the roots cannot go down in the ground to get the fertilization from the soil. And usually where does the fertilization come from the soil? Animals pooping in the ground, and then it dissolves into the soil and becomes, fertilizer for whatever's there. There's many different ways. So those are some ideas, ideas that you can use for fertilizer. Thank you for joining me. Hope to see you back again. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button. Hit the thumbs up. Thank you. Have a great day.